Hello, my name is Richard Spiby, and in this video I'm going to talk about assessing speaking. Speaking can be one of the most challenging skills to assess, especially in a big class when it's not easy to listen to everyone. However, it's important to assess speaking in the classroom. Speaking is an essential part of language learning, and students often enjoy it. Good assessments can encourage students to speak more. If we do speaking activities in class, it's important that we assess this part of their learning. Fortunately, there are practical ways to assess speaking if we keep a few things in mind. First, who will be involved in the assessment? Obviously, the student will be there. But will the student be alone or together with other students? What will the role of the teacher be? Asking questions or just listening? Then we need to think about the skills and the language functions that students will need to use. This will determine the kind of task we give. For example, if we want the students to describe something, we may give them a picture to talk about. The other thing to think about is the context. In our speaking assessment, what kind of real-life situation are we trying to represent? And how will this be represented in the assessment? For example, will the assessment be live or recorded? Will it be done face-to-face or on computer? With these in mind, we can think about which assessment design would be best. One format is a one-to-one interview. In this type of task, the teacher typically asks questions and the student answers. Although free conversation is most authentic, too much variety is difficult to mark fairly, and it's good to have some fixed questions. Another common task is a monologue or presentation, where the student gives a short speech. We will need to decide how much time they'll have to prepare for the talk. As the conditions for each student are the same, this can be considered quite a fair assessment. However, it tests quite a specific speaking skill, and it isn't very interactive. For a more interactive task, we can use the pair or group format. This is usually a discussion or problem-solving activity, where students come to a common conclusion. Group tasks have the great advantage that several students are assessed at one time. And this task may be a good reflection of the interaction that happens in a lesson. In group tasks, care needs to be taken when putting students together, so that everyone will feel comfortable speaking. All of these tasks can be done in person or through video calls on computer. They can also be recorded, which means that we can keep evidence of the assessment. And then it could be marked later, perhaps by a second marker. And to end, here is my top tip. Speaking is a good opportunity for peer and self-assessment. In this way, we can get students to listen to each other and reflect on what makes a good speaking performance.